gamers, this is Daltonic, and in this video I'm going to show you how to complete every challenge in 007 First Light's Prologue, Against the Odds. There are 8 challenges needed to complete the 9th and final Completionist challenge for the chapter, unlocking the Iceland outfit for Bond to wear in tactical simulations. Some of the challenges contradict each other, such as the No Help Needed challenge, which requires completing the level with no distractions, and the Full of Surprises challenge, which requires specific use of 2 distractions, the ATV and the BT-65. Because of this, we will need 2 separate runs to complete every challenge. One run focused on stealth, and the second run a tad more aggressive. Let's call them Cressida's Way and Monroe's Way. Now, if you have completed the chapter previously, you will want to jump to checkpoint 6 for the chapter, the central camp, as every challenge takes place during this section. If you're on a first playthrough, you'll need to progress through most of the chapter, past the central tent where Bond injects the antidote and the mystery syringe, and follow the arrowhead grunts to the central camp where the scientists are being held hostage. Now, I will be playing on purest difficulty for this guide, the hardest setting, so no matter what difficulty you are playing on, this guide will work for you. For Cressida's Way, we have 3 challenges we need to keep our eyes on. No Help Needed, our No Distractions challenge, Pacifist, which allows only 2 takedowns for this entire area, and Ghost, which requires us to complete this section without being spotted. Start this run by crouching through the grass, hugging the rocks to your left. Climb up the rocks to find a path that will take you all the way to the back corner of the camp. Walk forward onto the ledge, then climb up and shimmy across.
No time to hesitate. Those people need my help.
To your right will be a ledge that you can use to jump on top of the first container, G9, and use the hole in the roof to take down the enemy inside.
Container G9. That's where I'll find the captives.
For this run, after this takedown, we want to grab the key and free the scientists trapped in the next room. After the conversation completes, exit the container. To leave, take the back exit on your right. Sometimes the enemy standing by the BT-65 will see you when you leave through the front door, so we will head out the back. Crouch and move quickly to the left and into the grass. Follow the rocks around to the front of container G9, then walk forward and drop down into the crevasse and turn left. From here, we have an easy walk directly to our next container. Keep going forward, squeezing through the first set of rocks, heading under the marked container and squeezing through the second set of rocks, then finally turn around and climb up into the container through the window.
What was the point?
Sneak up behind the grunt and take him down, then free the second group of scientists.
Thank God you're finally here.
After the conversation completes and you collect the detonator, wait just a moment longer and the scientist who gives you the detonator will open a quick access ladder to the roof of the container.
Towards the sunrise. Got it.
Climb the ladder, turn right, and approach the marked support cable for the mast. As you approach, James will automatically interact with the support cable, opening the protective cover to allow you to sabotage. As this happens, your 3 challenge notifications will pop up and Cressida's Way will be complete. Occasionally, the pop-up notifications will not show on screen even though the challenge has been completed. If you don't see a notification, you can open the submenu and navigate to the Challenges tab to double-check completion. If you're on a first playthrough, be sure to complete the level to save your progress. Then quit to the main menu, return to Chapter Select, and go back to the start of Checkpoint 6 for the chapter to begin Monroe's Way. In Monroe's Way, we have 5 total challenges to complete. The Scenic Route, requiring us to ride the zipline and camp, our Assault Challenge, which requires winning 4 fights without alerting the camp, High Ground, which requires 3 high ground takedowns, Full of Surprises, our Distraction Challenge I mentioned earlier, requiring the ATV and BT-65, and Double O to Become, which requires 7 takedowns without being spotted. Now, at the start of this run, we want to head right into the middle container, F8, and climb up the 2 ladders to the zipline. The moment you jump to the zipline, the Scenic Route challenge will complete. After the zipline ends, remain crouched and turn around to find the ATV. Stay in the grass as you approach, and move forward to take cover behind the crates as you sabotage the brakes on the ATV. As the ATV takes off down the cliff, continue to the left behind the crates and enter the grass. Watch for the last enemy to come look at the ATV to turn his back, then cross into the next patch of grass. Cross the crevasse and approach the container ahead to the left. On the wall of the container near the thermochemical charge is a button that will close the other side of the container. Press the button, then approach the grunt inside and take him down. Exit the container and drop down into the crevasse.
B4. There's captives in there.
We'll follow the crevasse for just a bit, walking past the BT-65 and climbing up on our right next to this big rock. Crouch and circle around to the right and approach the acceleration controls for the vehicle. Interact with the controls, then immediately move to the left and stand at the edge of this stack of crates. As the vehicle crashes, our next challenge will complete, but be sure to keep focus on the enemies ahead. While all of them will eventually run to check out the distraction, one will typically trail behind the others, giving us the chance for a quick silent takedown. Quickly get your takedown and get back up on the ledge, crouching to avoid being spotted from a distance. We will now circle around container G9 to the back, taking cover in the grass we used to cover our escape from this container on the Cressida run.
I'm backing out now, James. Need to find those captives.
Use the grass to approach the crates ahead and interact with the SAS radio to attract the attention of the nearby enemy.
Sensible to check that.
When he walks over to the crates, perform your takedown. With him down, simply approach the next enemy ahead and get your silent takedown. Now turn around, open the door to G9, and take down the enemy inside.
Remind me why I'm the one.
On this run, we will refrain from talking to the scientists in this container, at least for now.
Didn't see that coming, did you?
Exit the crate out the back, this time going to the right, and squeeze through the containers and crouch in the grass. As you crouch, keep your eye on the enemy ahead to the left. If you accidentally get too close, he may spot you, and follow the grass to the front of the container. We want to wait for one of the enemies to climb the ledge we used for our quick takedown after the BT-65 distraction. But be sure to watch behind you so that pesky guard doesn't accidentally walk up and find you. Once the enemy climbs up the ledge and begins heading behind the crates towards the BT-65 controls, approach and perform your silent takedown. Continue forward past the controls and drop down into the crevasse. Again, we will walk the crevasse to the very end to climb through the back window of container B4. Now, our next silent takedown will be our 7th. However, I've completed these challenges on 3 accounts, performed this exact run on the 2nd and 3rd account, and both times it actually ended up taking 8. Not sure if this is a bug or if I did something wrong. Maybe the SAS radio distraction doesn't count. But either way, we will get our 7th takedown in container B4, and if we don't complete our challenge there are 2 more easy silent takedowns that we can snag. After our 7th takedown in container B4, we will free the scientists, grab the detonator, then climb to the roof of the container. Drop down to your left into the grass and peek around the corner at the group of enemies still confused by the ATV. We will slowly sneak up behind the closest enemy for a takedown, which should complete our Double O to Become challenge. If we need yet another silent takedown, the enemy ahead to the right can be taken down without alerting any other enemies. But if you try to take down any of these 3 guys on the left, you will have to fight the others, which we do not want to do quite yet. Once the Double O challenge completes, turn around and head back towards container F8. Sneak around the crates and climb through the window to avoid being seen, then go out the front of the container back to where we started the checkpoint. Since there are no enemies near a ledge for a high ground takedown, we will need to pull enemies into the proper location by luring them. Unfortunately, we haven't learned how to use the lure command at this point in the game, so we will need to carefully walk into an enemy's line of sight, then quickly leave before they fully spot us to pull them into the correct position. Start with the enemy from the pair to the left of F8 that's looking towards us, but down at a tablet. We want to get him to spot us, then escape up the ladder onto the top of the container. The enemy will approach the container to investigate. Once he stops moving, drop down for a takedown. Now, we can walk up to the nearby crouched enemy, making sure to walk around him so he spots us, then beat him to a pulp. Now, we will head to the group of enemies to the far left by the rocks we climbed for Cressida's run, and pull attention of the enemy to the left leaning against the crate. Again, we want to barely stand in his line of sight until we see the white arrow. The second you see white, begin to leave, then the second you see yellow, crouch and continue away. This time, the enemy will see the body of the victim from our first high ground takedown and call for support. One of the other guys from his group will approach as well, and possibly another enemy from the back of camp may approach, depending on where your fist fight victim fell. If all three approach at the same time, that's okay. We will still take the 2-on-1 fist fight. Perform your high ground takedown on the enemy who comes to inspect the body, then fight the remaining 1 or 2 enemies quickly before they can call for backup. Our melee capabilities are very limited on this chapter, so your best melee combo at this point is going to be a punch, punch, gut punch, heavy kick. This quick combo will set up enemies for a takedown even when playing on purest difficulty. To perform this, we use only our punch input, and we will tap, tap, hold, then takedown. If the enemy from the back of camp doesn't walk over, and you only fight one enemy here, just go fight the remaining enemy from the group by the rocks. Getting into the sightline of the enemy looking towards us here can be a bit tricky. Since he is crouched and looking down, we have to get pretty close. The safest way to lure him is to walk around this crate and immediately vault back over the crate and crouch, watching for the white arrow. If you don't see the white arrow, just repeat that walk around vault crouch process. If you do see the white arrow, just stand really quick, then crouch again really quick to get the arrow to turn yellow. Because of how close you need to get to this enemy to even enter his line of sight, his detection time is way shorter than the other 2 enemies we use this tactic on. Once you have his attention, again, climb to the top of the container, wait for the enemy to approach, and perform your takedown. This guy will not call for support, so just walk up to his comrade, enter his line of sight, and beat him up to complete our final task. These 2 enemies will complete both our high ground and our assault challenge, which altogether will give us our completionist for against the odds. We can double check the challenges tab on the submenu to be sure, and you should see 8 of 8 for completionist against the odds, and at least 9 challenges completed total, possibly 1 or 2 extra if you completed any global challenges. With the completionist challenge complete for the prologue, the Iceland outfit will now be unlocked for use in the Tactical Simulations side quest. You can now continue playing through the level or simply quit out. This is Daltonic signing off. Thanks for watching.